Donald Trump is expected to meet his top advisors today to explore how to respond to Iran's crackdown on anti-government protesters. President Trump has said countries doing business with Iran will face an immediate 25% tariff on business with the United States. He's repeatedly threatened to take action against Iran. One human rights group says it's confirmed around 650 people have been killed so far, but warned that number is likely to be much higher. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi is saying Iran is ready for war, but also to negotiate, while Washington says Iran is preparing to talk about their nuclear program.
You asked whether a preemptive operation is on our agenda. It is not. We do not want war, but we are completely ready for it. We are even more prepared than before the last war, and the reason for that is obvious.
Diplomacy is always the first option for the president. He's told all of you last night that what you're hearing publicly from the Iranian regime is quite differently from the messages the administration is receiving privately, and I think the president has an interest in exploring those messages. However, with that said, the president has shown he's unafraid to use military options if and when he deems necessary, and nobody knows that better than Iran.
With me is Lise Doucette, our chief international correspondent. Lise, your assessment today of where things stand?
Well, in terms of the protests, first of all, we have to keep emphasising it's very difficult to get a full picture because of the near total internet blackout in Iran, even telephone lines cut. But Iranians are still managing to get images, messages out through Starlink terminals, technical ingenuity, their own courage. But everything that we see is that the streets are much, much quieter now. And that is because of the brutal crackdown that the Iranian security forces use. This is their tactic of the past. It worked in previous rounds of protests. This time it came much quicker because the protests escalated much quicker. In the backdrop, of course, is what is President Trump going to do? And we don't know whether he'll make his decision today. And he likes to brag that only he knows what he's going to do, that he always makes up his mind at the last moment. But I think when you are contemplating action, and he has warned repeatedly that he will take action, it's not just a question of doing something, but the expression is being seen to be doing something. So last night, he again wielded his weapon of choice, the tariffs, 25% tariffs on anyone doing business with Iran. That will have an impact, but everyone is waiting to see what he will choose, if he does choose today.
And the numbers that we're hearing, the stories that we're hearing in those small snippets of information that are getting out of Iran, they are some terrifying scenes taking place. Some
of the most chilling scenes are in these open air morgues, where you have what seems could be a parking lot, but it's full of black body bags, full of grief. You can hear people wailing. There's a report coming in this morning that they had to shut one of these open-air morgues because there were so many people arriving. Even state TV in Iran showed images, these chilling images of the open-air morgue, because they wanted to show, too, that people were being killed. And they admitted that some are protesters, but state TV, of course, said what the government's view is that this is the work of the protesters, blaming it on plots by their enemies, the United States and Israel. And security forces have been killed. Civilly innocent bystanders have been killed. And there have been attacks on public properties in the midst of the protests. But this is very much a domestic internal uprising.
And when we hear the White House press secretary talking about diplomatic options there, what are those and what would Iran want?
Yes, this came out of the blue, but we had a hint of it when the report came on Sunday that the Omani foreign minister from the Gulf state, Badr al-Busaidi, was in Tehran. And the first question was, is he bringing a letter? Because Oman has traditionally played, and usually behind the scenes very discreetly, mediating between Tehran and Washington. And then came President Trump's statement saying that the Iranians called us. Of course, the Iranians didn't admit that. Who wants to be the first to make the first step? But he said that what we now understand is that both sides are looking at new ideas, if you like. What the foreign minister of Iran, Abbas Araghchi, said yesterday to diplomats in Tehran, he said, we want fair talks. For Iran, they have been anything but fair because, as is the style of President Trump and his team, they make maximalist demands, zero enrichment, no ballistic missiles. Iran will not capitulate. But again, to use the kind of language that President Trump used, they have a card. They have a card where they can say, we'll talk to you.